Hello Keith, you're on Radio Warneford and you want to talk about canal trips?
That's right. Well, not so much trips, but actually living on canals.
Okay. So do you live on a...
Certainly do, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what's it like compared to living in a house?
Oh, it's very, very different. I mean, for myself, I started on canals when I was 15. And I was very fortunate in the man that taught me was born and brought up on working boats. And he taught me all the tricks of the trade. And by the age of 16, I was running one of these community boats, taking kids.
People on day trips.
That's right,
like that,
yeah. From when I was 16 up to when I was about 24 as a part-time work, yeah.
Do you travel round canals or do you stay in one spot?
Basically what happened was back in 2004, my wife and I sold our house. We'd already booked to have our boat built, because it's a new boat, built specially. And we bought a second-hand boat to live on, because we needed the money from the house to have the boat built. And we lived on that boat for 3 years at the yard where she was actually built. So we actually saw her being built every day.
That is brilliant.
For us, it was a very unique experience, you know, and amazing to watch how. I mean, literally, I know where every nut and bolt is on that boat.
So, did you launch it when, like they do with a ship?
Oh yes, and in fact, it was quite a spectacular launching because, in terms of the boat builder, she was the heaviest boat that he launched. And from his shed, she launches out into what is basically an area of moorings. He moves the boats out, and by the time the stern of the boat dropped off the roller, having gone down the slope, there was only 10 foot before it hit the piling at the other end. And we had a railway sleeper strapped across because he knew it was going to hit it. And we've got this rather good video taken from inside the shed. And you see the boat go into the water, you see it drop. Next thing you see is this sleeper go, bing! 2 pieces either side, snapped it clean up.
You see them sleepers and they're quite a hefty bit of wood, aren't they?
And it pushed the piling back a good 6 inches. The biggest dent he's had to date.
Before it had hit the water.
That's right, yeah.
Has your narrowboat got a name?
Yes, she's called Haydar.
And what's that mean?
Well, Haydar is a star in the southern hemisphere. She's the 10th brightest star in the sky, and she's one of 2 stars which are on the Centaurus constellation, which points to the Southern Cross. A bit like the 2 stars on the plough up here in the northern hemisphere point to the North Star. Now, the choosing of the name Haydar has got a bit of a twist to it. Basically, she is a copy of the boat that I started working on when I was 15. And that class of boats were built for the Grand Union Canal, and they were called star-class boats. And each boat was named after a star. Now, when it came to choosing the name for our boat, I didn't want to use one of the names that they'd already used in the company. I wanted it to be 5 letters or less, because the more letters in a name, the more cost you have sign written on the boat, you see. So trying to save a bit of money. So I narrowed it down to about 4, and I decided on Haydar because when they built the fleet, all the boats were in alphabetical order and were numbered in that order. So, and Tares is number 1 and Zodiac is number 100. So I looked for where Haydar sat in the list. And number 48 was a boat called the Hawk. Now actually the Hawk was not built by the Grand Union Company. It was a boat that was owned by the original company before it became the Grand Union Company. And she was actually taken out of service in 1936, which was at the end of when the Star-class fleet was built. So basically number 48 has been vacant since 1936. So I thought, ideal. But the twist to this story is that Haydar is the 48th boat that the boat builder has built.
Oh, okay. That's
Pure coincidence, yeah.
brilliant. No, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So what do you do on your boat? Do you?
Well, my job is to steer the boat. My wife's job is to sell the coal. The coal business is hers.
Oh, so you sell coal from the boat?
We certainly do, yes, yeah.
Do you moor up at the Cape of Good Hope?
We've not been in this area very much, but what happened this year was we were offered a full residential mooring at Saltersford Arm, which we took up in October. But we don't have to stay there all the time, but it's more for the future when we physically can't move the boat about and we'll have a permanent mooring we can stay on. So quite fortuitous really that having moved there in October I end up in hospital here.
I was going to say, I know we've had a lot of floods and that. It's a bit of drastic action to move on a boat.
Not really, no. The canals are actually controlled fairly well. Other than sections of the canal where a river does come in, which happens in various places, but the locks down through the Hatton Flight are very well controlled, and the water level tends to rise and fall because boats passing in and out of the locks. So as they let water out from the Hatton Flight, we come up a bit. And as they go down through the Cape locks, we go down a bit.
Oh, right. So
Yeah.
I thought it was all level in a sense, apart from the locks.
No. A lot depends on. It's quite surprising because you think from the bottom of the Hatton locks round to the Cape, and including the Arm, it's quite a lot of water. But because there's been a very poor programme of dredging over the years, it is very, very. Well, all the canals are very, very shallow. I mean, one of the reasons I had her built was I wanted her built with a shallow draft instead of the original 3'6" draft. She's only 2'6", and I still stir mud as I go along.
So what I want to know, do you have TV and everything on it?
We do, yes.
What about Sky?
Oh no. But,
Pushing it a bit.
yeah. Although in fact, actually on the wall there is a photograph of her.
I can see your photograph.
Yeah. The black canvas part is where all the coal is stored.
Right.
And where the red, white and blue is where the bit at the very back is our bedroom, which is the traditional cabin, and it's all been done exactly like they used to be.
Because I was going to say, it's about twice the length of like a normal barge, isn't it? So
70 foot long, and she's not a barge.
okay, what's the difference?
The difference is narrowboats are based around a width of 7 foot. Barges tend to be wider than that. And there are certain variations. Some of the barges are motorised, some of them aren't. Some of them have cabins and that, but it's mainly that narrowboats were built specifically to go through narrow locks. Yeah, and the in front of the cabin is the engine room, in which we've got a very rare engine which was built in 1949, and it's only one of two we know of in the country still existing.
Wow.
And then in front of that, where you can see two portholes.
Yes.
Yeah, that is actually our bathroom, in which we've got a shower, toilet, sink and radiator.
In that case, you can look out the window and wave,
That's it. And then opposite that, we've got a washing machine with a small freezer above it. Next to that, we've got a fridge freezer. Then moving into the galley, we've got a sink, we've got a full gas oven. And then a bit further up is our saloon, where we've got a couple of reclining chairs and we can sit there watching the TV.
So when you've got a full load on it, how much is it weighing?
The boat itself weighs 22 tonnes, and I can carry up to 8 tonnes, so in all it's 30 tonnes.
Is it harder to steer when it's full?
Actually, no. It's a lot easier. And a lot of people think it's the other way around, and that's why we tend to keep her full of coal, because she just handles a lot better.
So what I want to know, when you're sleeping at night, do you park it in the middle of the canal or near the edge?
No. We tie up on the towpath.
I wouldn't trust that because someone walking in or something.
No. Well, we lock all the doors from the inside, but basically, you can moor anywhere on the towpath for up to 14 days. There are certain places where they've got visitor moorings where it could be either 24 or 48 hours where they put a restriction on. What it doesn't mean is you can moor one place for 14 days, move 2 miles and moor there for 14 days, and then move back 2 miles to where you were before for 14 days. It's what they call continual cruising, you see, and it's what we were doing until we got this mooring. A lot of people, of course, only have narrow boats to basically like a caravan, where they spend a weekend on it and have a holiday on it and that sort of thing.
Because I was thinking of hiring one, because you can hire it for like 30 people or something.
Well, in fact, at the Saltersford Arm, we do have one which you can hire for a day.
That's where I've looked, yes.
Yes, yeah, and...
would you recommend it?
Definitely, definitely. For a day out, you can get down to Cape Locks, through the Cape Locks, through Leamington Spa.
Yeah, because I think they give a route. I think they give you up to like off church and then back.
Yes, yeah. It's nice pubs to stop at for lunchtime.
I know. Except for the driver.
Exactly.
Is he called a driver, or is there another name?
Well, in terms of working boats, we're called boatmen.
Not a captain.
No. My wife is called a boatwoman.
Right.
Yeah.
You got 2 teddy bears called Rosie and Jim?
No.
Because they were from round here, weren't
That's
they?
right, yeah. No, but we do have a rather daft and soppy border collie called Paddy, and an absolutely lethal and suicidal tabby cat called Marmite.
You got a cat that lives on the barge?
Oh yes, yeah. Narrow boat, it's not a barge.
Sorry, narrow boat.
The trouble is, you see, I think people picked up that term from a film which starred Ronnie Barker and Harry H. Corbett called The Bargee.
Right.
Technically, it was a very good film about narrowboats, and Harry H. Corbett and Ronnie Barker were actually very adept at running the boats as they used to be run. But I think from that, people picked up the idea that they were called barges. Unfortunately.
No, I've always known it as a barge, but
yeah.
So I've learnt something today.
There we go. Yeah.
So I can remember when I was a kid, I don't know if you know Birmingham, the Grand Union Canal down there, by the where the BSA factory was.
I've not been on that part of the Grand Union.
When they used to dredge it, apparently they used to make a lot of ammunition and everything.
I know what you're going to say.
We used to go and get like helmets with holes in and all sorts of bullets and that we used to find.
I usually, from here, you see, for me to go up into Birmingham, I would go up through the Hatton Flight and then change over to the Stratford Canal. I'd go up to the Stratford Canal and onto the Worcester, because once you get up through the Lapworth locks on the Stratford Canal, it's dead flat, no locks, all the way into Birmingham, all the way up almost to Wolverhampton.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So what type of speed can you do on the canal?
The regulated speed is about 3 miles per hour, but to actually achieve 3 miles per hour these days, because of the condition of the canals, they're so shallow that with the shallow water, the faster you go, all you do is make more wash. You don't go any, and of course it washes the banks into the canal,
so
which makes them shallow. Yeah. So I think we generally do about 2 miles per hour. But it's surprising how you can cover distance, because I mean last year we had to do a bit of a dash. I think we were averaging about 10 hours a day, and we did from London to Manchester in 15 days.
Oh, that ain't too bad. Because you can stop when you like and go to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, we do know people. We know a couple of young lads who run a pair of coal boats down in London, and they did from Ellesmere Port up on the Wirral down to London in 4 days. But they were doing it 24 hours. One did the day shift and one did the night shift.
What I've been wondering, does it run on coal, your narrowboat?
No. It's, basically, narrowboats started with being horse-drawn, of course, which they did.
That's what towpaths were for.
That's what they were for. Yes, yeah. And of course, horses drew them for many, many years. Then, in the late 1890s, early 1900s, they experimented with steam engines. But the big problem with steam engines was the boiler took up so much room that it cut down the amount they could carry. Right. And then, of course, around about 1912, the first diesel engines started to come along. They very quickly adapted to diesel engines.
So
yeah.
are they all diesel now, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I've learnt something about narrowboats.
There you go.
Thank you very much. I
That's
really
all right.
appreciate
It's
it.
been a pleasure.
Radio Warneford's 40 this year. Would you like to wish Radio Warneford happy birthday?
I certainly would, yes, yes. Congratulations on your 40th year.
But no, have you got a favourite song?
Oh,
Something water themed would be fantastic.
yeah. Simon and Garfunkel.
Bridge over troubled water.
You knew it.